A pair of projects near downtown Huntingburg are now at the forefront of that city's Stellar Communities effort. We'll tell you which projects, plus Michelle Reller talks about a PAH support group tonight on Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. Well, the 2015 primary election is finally in the books. In DuBois County, there were 3 contested races for voters to focus their attention on, and the biggest of these was the Jasper mayor's race on the Republican ticket. Incumbent Terry Seitz held off challenger Steve Messmer by just 44 votes to take the win. Seitz says he wasn't surprised by how tight this race turned out to be.
You know, you always anticipate, at least I do, that they'd be close. I did that in 2011. I did that now. I don't take anything for granted. But I do think a lot of times voters will take things for granted, especially maybe for an incumbent, that what we were hearing, that people who were not as aware that there was a race, or you make assumptions by that. And I'm not saying that's the only reason for a close race, but certainly it plays a factor where votes matter. And I always do say that. Never assume that your vote doesn't count. It truly does.
Seitz will face Democratic challenger Wayne Sheeter in November's general election. Meanwhile, there was also a Jasper City Council seat up for grabs. The District 3 Republican ticket pitted John Bell and Scott Blasey against each other, and Bell won that race by a margin of 224 votes to 184 for Blasey. Bell says the race was competitive, yet friendly for both candidates.
We both hit a lot of doors and met a lot of people. We were friends before the race started, and we're going to be better friends after the race. And so we're both going to wake up tomorrow, and the sun was going to shine, and so that makes it successful for both of us. It was a great race.
Adam Offert will run against Bell this fall as the Democratic challenger. The winner will fill the seat that's currently held by Dave Prechtel, who is not seeking re-election this year. Finally, the Huntingburg City Council will have at least one new member. Jeffrey Bounds won the Republican nomination for that seat last night by defeating incumbent Alex Blackgrove by a vote of 83 to 23. Bounds said he had great support from his district, and he says he's looking forward to November and hopefully beyond.
We've been passionate about Huntingburg for a long time, and ever since we lived here, and had opportunities to move what at the time was being promised as bigger opportunities, and we even explored those a couple of times, but always seemed to come back to Huntingburg. And there's a lot of projects going on at the Stellar Communities project, and that's so multifaceted. It's drawing a lot of attention and a lot of money to do some things that really are going to help Huntingburg a lot. So I want to continue working with the mayor and other councilmen to push those projects through.
Bounds is currently unopposed for the November election. Meanwhile, in Spencer County, Donna Lashley defeats Jack Morrison for the Rockport City Council Ward 3 Republican nomination. John Bowen, Kevin Burke, and Seth Wendell were the 3 winners in the Santa Claus Town Council race. Moving to Martin County, Lagodi had several seats up for grabs in yesterday's primary. Nancy Jones won the clerk-treasurer's race on the Democratic ticket, and fellow Democrats Teresa Nolly, Tim Lawrence, and Roger Downey won races for Council Districts 1, 4, and the at-large council bid, respectively. In Perry County, Sean Riss won the Tell City Council District 3 Democratic nomination. And there were no races in Pike County, but voters overwhelmingly decided not to fund a property tax increase over 5 years to help support the Pike County School Corporation. 68% of those who voted said no to that increase. A fiery one-vehicle accident along State Road 56 between Hayesville and DuBois yesterday afternoon left an elderly DuBois woman with minor injuries. Just before 12:35 p.m., DuBois County Sheriff's deputies were called to State Road 56 just east of County Road 400 East near the DuBois Crossroads. Sheriff's deputies say 68-year-old Kay Smock had been driving westbound on State Road 56 when she fell asleep or passed out at the wheel. Smock then went off of the roadway and into a ditch, which caused substantial damage to her vehicle. The impact also caused Smock's car to catch fire. DuBois volunteer firefighters were called to the scene and were able to quickly pull Smock from the car and get the flames extinguished. Smock was taken to Memorial Hospital for treatment of minor facial and neck injuries. Smock's vehicle was a total loss, and State Road 56 was down to one lane for roughly 45 minutes while the accident scene was being cleared. Memorial Hospital EMS and a wrecker from Ubelors also assisted. A pair of stellar communities projects in downtown Huntingburg are now starting to gain traction. Mayor Denny Spenner says the 4th Street Heritage Trail and the Market Street Park projects have gotten the most attention thus far. Spenner says efforts to advance these projects have gone well.
There's been 2 subcommittees working on these 2 projects independently to move us from a conceptual, which what we had in our stellar proposal was just kind of an overview of what it could be, and taking that concept into a really more of an idea of these are the elements that we want to be part of this project.
Spenner says the committee meetings have all been very productive. He says funding sources for these 2 projects will be made available within the next year. Now, the public will get a chance to hear more on these proposals at a hearing. The hearing is set for Wednesday, May 27th at Old Town Hall along Geiger Street. Times and further details will be announced later. Spenner says the meeting will mark the beginning of the next stages for both projects.
After that public hearing, again, input will be received, and our next step would be actually to go to working with our 2 funding sources, the Office of Community and Rural Affairs and the Indiana Department of Transportation, to go out for a request for proposal from engineering firms that would take the concepts that we have and develop them into a buildable project.
Spenner says there has also been great participation from citizens thus far. He says between 20 and 40 residents have been at a couple of these meetings to hear more and offer their perspective. As for a timeline, Spenner says construction on both projects would likely get underway sometime next year. Now, on a bit of a related note, Kimball International has donated some money to the endowment set up for the Huntingburg Stellar Communities Initiative. The company's Habig Foundation is contributing $50,000 towards the effort. The money will go directly into the Huntingburg Stellar Endowment established by the DuBois County Community Foundation. Now, Kimball International is the 2nd company in the Kimball family of companies to make a donation. Recently, Kimball Electronics announced their plans to kick in $25,000 of their own support over the next 2 years. Other companies who have contributed include German American, Master Brand Cabinets, Old National Bank, OFS Brands, and Jasper Engines and Transmissions. More than $825,000 has been raised to date for the Huntingburg Stellar Endowment. The overall fundraising goal is $1.8 million. And as we head to break this evening, check out this cool video from NSWC Crane. The naval base will soon be displaying a retired EA-6-B Prowler aircraft. The plane flew into the Monroe County Airport in Bloomington yesterday to be readied for its next life as a display at Crane. What you're seeing on the screen is the water salute that's given for retiring military aircraft. Now, the EA-6-B has a long history with Crane. The base has supported it and the ALQ-99 tactical jamming system for more than 45 years. We'll be back after this.